All right, traders, to watch this video for Tuesday, August 25th. You know, today started out real slow, and it was, we called it the quadfecta, like a trifecta, but one more, because we had several things against us. For one, Mondays are slow. Two, August is slow. Three, gaps up suck, right, usually for what we do. And then four, gapping up to all-time highs. So there was just four things kind of against it, looking like it was going to be a good day. But guess what? It ended up being a pretty damn good day. So a couple highlights. Whoops. A couple highlights from chat today for those of you that couldn't make it. As soon as I learned how to type, FMCI is what I try to type 3 times there. Big breakout today. I called this long. After this spike is what put it on my radar. And then called it long either Tokyo or high of day break, which would have been 1670 or anywhere on this candle. Man, we got a really nice move from 1670. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. 1670 to 1669, 1670 to 1836 was the move. And the beauty of it, never underwater, right? Love setups like that. Also called graph, G-R-A-F, over this cup and handle look right here. Whoops. So like the high of day break right around 1870. Wait for it. There it is. And that one really took off too and went over, went to what, 1995 from 1870. Again, really worked right away. Wayne called SONN over hit 425 here, hit 425 here. Kind of had an inverse head and shoulders working on an intraday basis. He called it long over 425. And that's not an errant tick. It actually went all the way up there to 494 from the 425 entry. And I know that because I was selling all the way up. That was a really nice afternoon trade. Great call by Wayne. And lastly, a couple calls in SHLL today. I actually called it on an inside fives right over this candle right there earlier. Didn't quite rip. And then you notice it hit 34.50 here and was flagging. Kevin P called it over that 34.50 again. And that was one of those entries that never looked back. And that's kind of what we always hope for, right? Is a trigger that never looks back and makes your life easy as a day trader. So basically, it ended up being a really, really nice day for what started out really slow. So what are we watching for tomorrow? VVPR is kind of interesting all by itself if you didn't know it was gapping after hours, but I like it mostly because it's gapping after hours. Had this big move, 2 ugly days down, and then kind of turned back up today. But in after hours, this finishing up here. Right now it's trading around 455. After hours isn't quite over yet, but certainly a potential gap and go tomorrow. Keep our eyes on that one. SONN, talked about this one already. Topped out right below 5, but it closed at 390. So I don't love this one, but if we get some kind of gap up tomorrow, it's certainly interesting, or maybe a red to green. So I am going to have it on a chart. FMCI, talked about this breakout. We're just going to look for a possible continuation pattern. Remember when you watch my videos, in cash every night, looking for things that might make me money on an intraday basis, like those charts that I showed you a little bit ago, right? The intraday stuff that we traded today. So GRAF, you know, closing well off its highs, but I'm still going to keep an eye on it because all of these SPAC plays, if you will, are interesting. They're all kind of moving together today. GEVO, they did an offering after this almost billion share day, and so then it had a red day, but you've really got 2 inside days in a row now after the big day. So even with that offering, I think this still has potential to rip higher, so we're going to keep our eyes on that. LI, nice break from the lows here, relatively recent new issue, and a strong close. And after hours, actually trading around 1750 right now, so maybe a possible gapper there. SPAQ had this huge move back here, came all the way back down and really sideways for about a month, and now a little extra volume like these other ones and trying to break out of that range. So definitely going to watch that for a follow-through day tomorrow. FINB had the big pop, quiet inside day, and then now a nice green day. Certainly interesting over that 2-day high. BPTH, big day on Friday, and then kind of a quiet inside day today. We'll see. If it gets over 511, then it might take out this 554. Definitely want to keep an eye on that one. AUTO. Bear with me, I gotta clean up my list a little bit. Okay, AUTO had this big rip. Looked like it was rolling over. Next thing you know, right back up again. So we've got to keep an eye on that. REDU just goes on bounce watch. Big 3-day rally. Now 4 or 5 days in a row down on declining volume. Finally got back down to the 8 days. So I want to watch that one for a bounce. And then lastly on my list, GRWG. Gap down into the buy zone today. I think some company or some firm came out with a short thesis or a short hit piece on this thing a couple days ago. And the reason that's interesting to me is because it had such a big move, and now you're a few days lower, that if this does give an intraday long setup, you might have some people chasing this thing short because of that report, and they might get caught. So you could have a little mini short squeeze. It is set up nicely for a bounce tomorrow. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to quit babbling. We'll add some other gappers that we spot in the pre-market. Should be plenty to trade tomorrow. Let's keep the teamwork going. And I'll see everybody in the chat room in the morning.